This is it, guys. The Wing Gundam Zero EW. This is a kit that I have been just been wanting to build for some time now. Let's go. Okay, I have several questions. Gunpla, the final frontier beside space? Who's to say? But what I can say is that it has made its mark on me. On June 9th of last year, I went shopping with my mom over at Hobby Lobby. Yeah, I know we're already off to a bad start, but I didn't know any other hobby shops around me at the time. But anyways, we were only there to get something for the house, and maybe something for my nephew, until we had seen the model kit section right next to us. My mom said to me, "Would you like to pick out a model kit to try and build?" At the time, I knew that a few of my friends were into building Gunpla, and it was at that moment that I became curious about what this hobby was about. I looked through the aisle and found only a limited amount of Gunpla kits, but ultimately chose the entry-grade RX-78-2 and the high-grade Rising Freedom Gundam. Since then, Gunpla has served as one of my few means of escape from all that surrounded me, and not only have I grown my collection while understanding the different qualities and grades, but also grew to appreciate Gundam as a franchise and continue to learn more about its continuity. However, just a few months ago, I realized that I would have been on this creative journey for one entire year, and so I decided something needed to be done. But what, I wondered? What could I possibly do to commemorate something as niche yet personally exciting as having built these model kits for 1 year? Another high-grade build? No, too simple. A master grade build? Maybe, but nothing came to mind. A real grade? Perhaps, but which one? There's only so many different real grades that I'm interested in building, until one day I came across the one kit that I had my eye on for some time, the real grade Wing Gundam Zero EW. The Wing Gundam Zero from Endless Waltz is one of the most iconic mobile suit designs of all time. While the original Wing Zero is known to be more bulkier while having the resemblance of a traditional Gundam, the Endless Waltz version of Wing Zero has not only a sleeker look, but has replaced its big cylindrical wing thrusters with some big, white, angelic wings. Although I'm much more interested in building the Master Grade Verka rendition of Wing Zero EW, mainly because it can transform into some kind of bird mode, something we never see it do in the OVA, as well as being able to store its twin buster rifles in its wings, there's a greater reason why I decided to build the real grade version. To commemorate 1 year of building Gunpla, I wanted to combine my enjoyment of building these model kits with something else that I definitely like. A nice, cold, refreshing, zero sugar, white monster energy drink. But I'm not just going to drink this crisp fragment of heaven on earth. I plan on taking my real grade Wing Zero EW kit, and I'm going to paint it in the infamous white monster color scheme. This is going to be a very ambitious project, as I had never done anything like this before, and when it comes to customizing Gunpla, I've only just gotten into using top coats, and I've barely done any panel lining. So join me as I walk you through how I created my very own White Monster Wing Gundam Zero EW. So first things first, we'll start out by opening up the box and taking a look at what we're dealing with. Already I can already see the first bag of runners having the sticker decal sheet, and spoiler alert, I'm not going to be using that sticker sheet, aside from the eyes and the circle that goes underneath the orb on Wing Zero's chest. Looking back on it, I really didn't need any of those stickers, but the ones for the eyes did help me when seeing where to color. We'll go ahead and get the rest of the bags out, as we get a glimpse of the rest of the runners that we'll be working with. Of course, here's our instruction manual, and I like to skim through these at first, just to get an idea of how long it will take to build each part of the kit, as well as checking out any kind of photos, descriptions, and artwork. Once we get all of the runners out of the bags, it's time to get building. I'll spare you from having to watch the full 3+ hours of this build, which is remarkably the fastest I've put together a real grade. To my surprise, I found the build process to be quite easy and simple to put together, making the Wing Zero EW possibly one of the easiest real grades to build. Every piece, including the MS joints, fit together so nicely, it was almost like building a high grade, but it just so happens to include an inner frame. Much like the IBO high grades, but nonetheless, I was able to put it all together without any issues. The only challenge I had putting it together were the wings, which require 2 pieces to sandwich between movable feathers, which can fall out pretty easily when not enclosed. Since I have some time left in this section, I'd like to tell you about the thought process that went behind this project. As I already said before, I wanted to do something special to celebrate my first anniversary of building Gunpla, and what better way to celebrate such an occasion than to combine my liking of Gunpla and white monsters into one. Now, the idea was already there. The only question that remained, aside from how I needed to paint my kit, was which mobile suit would I like to paint? It took a while, but I eventually landed on the Wing Gundam EW, as I could see it match the incredible, holistic aura that can be found from a white monster. To help me visualize how this would look, I took an image of the real grade Wing Zero AW and drew all over it, and as you can see, it's certainly not my best work. However, I then went over to ChatGPT and had it modify the original image by making every red color white, every blue color silver, all the gray pieces silver, having the blue chest white, the blue shoulders black, and every yellow piece silver, while also changing anything green into light blue. The result is the image that you see here, and this satisfied me in knowing how the model kit should look in the end. And so, there we have it, the real grade Wing Gundam Zero EW completely built. Other than the build being smooth sailing, the design itself is quite okay. I wouldn't say there's much about the detail that makes it stand out when compared to something like the rivaled real grade Epyon, or the real grade Sazabi, or even earlier real grades like the Freedom Gundam, aside from its remarkable wings. But one thing I am impressed by is how well this can stand without being too back heavy. When positioning the wings just right while posing, it can stand up completely normal, and even when the wings are down and rested, they do a fairly good job at keeping the Wing Zero standing up straight. Besides that, articulation is something that I wouldn't brag about. There's only one piece in the legs that shift when bent back and forth, and that's it. Hip rotation is fairly decent, the arms aren't too weak at all, so it can raise its two guns upward with ease, and the hands can hold the accessories quite well. And in case you were curious, I won't be needing to customize any of the beam sabers, as I happen to have a pair of blue colored beam saber effects from the high grade Gundam Lafrith, which admittedly would go together nicely with my model if I ever choose to use them. Now that we got our kit all built up, it's time to move on to our next step. We're going to take apart all of the pieces and just leave the inner frame intact. When you're planning on painting your Gunpla kit completely, the idea is that you want the pieces to be separate and arranged in a way that makes you know which pieces are going to be painted a certain color, and you may be wondering, what even was the point of building the kit in the first place if I was just going to take it apart? There's a couple of answers for that. One is that assembling the kit allows me to not only remove any unnecessary nubs and smoothen out pieces when needed, but also take note of any seam lines that can be found when putting certain pieces together. That way, we can get rid of those lines when it comes time to reassembly, using a little bit of cement. Another reason is to see where paint doesn't need to be applied. There are going to be aspects of your kit that will not be present when entirely built, such as pegs being connected on the backpack, or the lower end of a neck piece that gets connected to the body. Obviously, the inside of most of your pieces won't be visible, so you don't really have to worry about getting paint on them. Do I end up painting them? Yeah, but that's just unavoidable, especially because I'm working with spray cans and not an airbrush. So here we are at the side of my house, where we're going to apply the surfacer and all of the paint. At first I wasn't sure where I was going to do all of this, but then I remembered I had a bench next to the side of my house and a tarp I can put on top of it, but I also didn't want to get paint on my house. So what I ended up doing was grabbing one of those fruit boxes that you can get at either at Costco or a grocery store and using that as a cover. Before we apply our silver paint, we're first going to add a layer of Mr. Hobby Gray Surfacer. From what I've heard, the purpose of having a color surfacer is to improve paint adhesion and help give a good color base. Ultimately, the color of your paint will stand out more depending on which surfacer you go with. Most people go with gray, but there's not really an absolute way to do it, for there are a number of surfacers that will work depending on the color of plastic. Thankfully, it all worked out for me in the end. While we let our inner frame dry, let's focus on getting the clear orb and eyes blue. Before getting this kit, I thought getting the orb blue would be the most challenging part, because I thought the actual orb piece was green. For those of you who have built the real grade Epyon, you'll know that the orb piece in its chest is green, so I thought that would be the same case here, but it turns out the piece was clear. That saved me plenty of time from having to learn all sorts of color theory and trying to turn the green piece into blue. By the way, Kevin Bowie on Facebook, if you're watching this, blue as a primary color? Seriously? Anyways, at first I thought about having actual watercolored paint to make the eyes and orb a light blue, but it didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped. So instead, I ended up biting the bullet and used my blue Gunpla marker. I had to be a little precise when it came to the eyes, which thankfully the green didn't affect the blue in any way, whereas with the orb, I just pressed my marker in the inside of the piece and let the ink do its job. I'll also be using the blue Gunpla marker on the scopes that are on the Twin Buster rifles, as well as the green that are on the forearms. Once our inner frame has completely dried, it's time to add on the silver paint. I'll be rocking with the Tamiya paints throughout this phase, so we're first going to be using the Tamiya silver paint. One thing I did learn is that when you paint your pieces outside, you want to be mindful of the weather. Obviously, you don't want to paint when it's raining, but you also want to avoid days where it's humid. Thankfully, where I live, the weather is completely dry, and the time these videos were taken was in June. So when it gets to summertime, the temperatures here reach from 90 to even a little over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. As you've noticed, I've been having the inner frame stand up in the box instead of having it clipped onto a rod. Was it the best way to do it? Probably not, but I didn't get any mishaps while doing so. After a few hours, this is what our inner frame looks like. Definitely looks a little bit more metallic compared to the dark gray plastic that we're all used to. I'm not gonna lie, upon looking at this, I felt like I was creating some kind of animatronic. And before anyone asks, no, my last name is not Afton. With the inner frame now done, it's time to move on to the armor pieces. We're not done yet using our silver paint, so we're gonna go ahead and take all the pieces and accessories that I'll be painting silver. And as you can see, this is a makeshift paint stand that I had made out of some cardboard boxes I had lying around and some packing tape. Admittedly, I should have used more boxes to try and make the stand more stable, but it worked out overall. We'll then apply our alligator clip rods onto the open holes that are on the sides of the boxes, so that way they can sit and rest while holding onto our pieces. I got this pack of 40 clips for just $6 on Amazon, so go nuts on buying however many you want. When it comes to clipping your pieces on, you want the clips to grab onto areas that won't have any kind of exposure or presence when the kit is fully built. So any pegs, molds that are within the inside of pieces, or ball joints are good places for you to attach your clips. The more complex the pieces got, like the toes or flat pieces, the more intricate it got for me to figure out which was the best way I needed to clip these pieces. With a bit of patience, you'll be able to figure out which way will work. Now that we've got those pieces painted, we'll now do the same with the blue pieces we want silver. We'll repeat the same process we did moving forward, surfacer first, paint second. I happen to have the wrists of the arms covered up in some masking tape. This is because the piece inside the forearm was a bit hard to get out, so I decided to just let it be and use little pieces of masking tape. I also did the same with some of the pieces of the front skirts. With the silver pieces all done, let's paint our next set of pieces black. Lastly, we move on to what was actually the most difficult part throughout this entire project, the red pieces becoming white. For those of you who have worked with red plastic before, you already know what I'm about to say. Essentially, red plastic likes to bleed through light colors, so my first round of trying to get these pieces white ended up being a bust. This here is my second try of trying to get them white, and the key is to first use a few layers of surfacer before applying a few layers of white paint. Also, here's a tip. If you ever want to remove paint from your pieces, soak them in some isopropyl alcohol, then scrub them with a toothbrush under some warm water. If you have a sink with a closable drain, make sure to close it because otherwise you'll need to cover it with something else or you'll risk losing your pieces. While they didn't turn out entirely perfect, this is definitely a whole lot better than what I had previously. I did compare these to the pieces that were already white, and I think they blend in just fine. With all of our pieces and accessories painted, it's now time for the reconstruction phase. Given that this was easy to disassemble, I would figure that this would be somewhat easy to reassemble now that they're all coated in paint. Maybe a few chips here and there, which did happen a few times with the inner frame, but it turned out to be a little more difficult to put back together. Just to save you all a bit of time, as well as sparing myself from looking like a complete doofus, I'll skip the assembly time-lapse and show you all what each part looks like when put together. As for the areas of the inner frame that did chip, I easily covered them up using a silver Gunpla marker. And there we go. We have ourselves the White Monster Wing Gundam Zero Sugar EW. Upon reassembly, I was just stunned by what I was looking at. I mean, wow. While the Master Grade Zeta Gundam Ver.Ka and the Real Grade Sazabi are impressive, this truly is the magnum opus of my entire Gunpla journey. The articulation seems to have no difference as it did before, and once I pop this bad boy onto a stand, this thing will truly look divine on my shelf. The only thing left to do now is to surprise my viewers with this awesome milestone. Okay, so let us, I guess, go ahead and reveal the kit that we're gonna be building for today. This is kind of a big deal, but this is it. This is it, guys. The Wing Gundam Zero EW. This is a kit that I have been just been wanting to build for some time now. I think it's definitely one of the most iconic looking Gundams in the franchise. I don't know if I'd call it. I don't know if it's a reboot, but like, I see Toki Kat is here. What is up, dude? Welcome to the stream, my man. Anyways, let's go. Okay, I have several questions. Why is there a monster can in my kit? Have you guys ever got one? Have y'all ever got like a drink that came with your fucking your kit? That's kind of weird. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I like this, but it's some weird shit. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Where's the runners? Hold on. Nah. Oh shoot, I'm dropping pieces now. That's how enraged I am. Oh man. Huh? Hold up. What the hell is happening? The fuck is this? What is this? Like some arms or some shit. What the? Oh, but hey, look. It came with the stand. It came with a stand. What the actual fuck is going on? What the fuck are they doing at Hobby Lobby? Hold on. I think I see the vision here. Guys, does the real grade Wing Zero EW usually come like this? This shit ain't supposed to be silver. Things are supposed to be in the front. And you just go on like this. What do you do? You go on like this? Guys, what is happening right now? I feel like we've been hijacked, and I don't know who the perpetrator is. This ain't it. Yeah. This ain't even like, do you go on this one? I think it goes like this. Something like that. What is my dog doing? I have several questions. Okay, I think that's good. Oh man. Getting like flakes on my damn on my hand. Did somebody like paint my kit or something? What the hell is this? Oh man, the shoulder right here. Acting a little funky. So awkward to... Ah! Moving pieces now. Okay, there we go. Thanks. Alright. Who is this? What has happened, chat? What is going on? Alright. Alright, I'm gonna give up the act. Alright. I have a confession to make. Alright. This is not the Wing Gundam Zero EW real grade build. This is something that I wanted to show off to you guys on stream. Something I've been working on behind the scenes for the last like two and a half weeks maybe. But yeah, I got this kit like maybe about a month ago, before eventually finding the time to actually go through with this idea. I had thought about actually painting my first ever kit, and the one that I wanted to do, especially for you know, to celebrate 1 year of building Gunpla, was the Wing Zero EW. I haven't really messed around with this thing all that much after finishing it. I do expect, you know, some paint chipping to happen, but I think for the most part the paint that's gonna chip is gonna be from the inner frame, because I did paint that silver. There was a lot of silver paint that was used in this, obviously. And then also these open up as well. These like wings here. I was able to get the silver to go on like that. And surprisingly, you know, like with all this like plastic shifting, I'd be like, oh man, that's gonna like do something to the paint. No, it's actually holds on pretty well. I think because it's just a, you know, a thin coat. There's enough room in there as well for the pieces to not like actually touch inside. I also did a paint job on the hands as well. The alternate hands, just got them silver, you know. Yeah, this is pretty much it, guys. This is what I wanted to show you all. All right, so now with that being done, where's the build today? Well, there is no build. There's no build today, guys. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to brag and show you guys, like, hey, I did this. I did this thing. Yeah, there's no build today, guys. There's no build. I just wanted to show this off, you know, and just, you know, be a jerk and be like, hey, look what I did, motherfuckers. No, there is a build today. There is a build today. What are we building today? Move aside. Move aside. We're building God Gundam! Ah! And that right there is going to be it for today's video. I don't usually post things like this, let alone post on this channel often due to my own personal life, so whether you're new here or one of my amazing 13 subscribers and made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. I'm not sure if I'll ever do something like this again, and if I do, I'm just not sure what it would be. Maybe a Gunpla with a Dr. Pepper or a Pepsi color scheme, who knows. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. I didn't forget about that promise I made when I hit 20 subscribers. I'll still build that Bionicle on stream, and If you're still curious about my content, make sure to follow me over on Twitch, check out my VOD channel, and consider joining my official Discord server. All of the links are in the description down below. Other than that, you all have a good rest of your day or night, and I will see you all on the next one.